Blog Talk Radio.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Star Trek Thursday. I'm Matt Marrero along with...
I'm Anthony Toto. Hello.
Yeah. So we are those guys, and we're doing another Star Trek Thursday. So, Anthony, we do two sets of Star Trek Thursdays for anyone new to what we do here, either if you're listening to this through our Blog Talk Radio or our Those Guys on the Radio YouTube channel. So Anthony and I do Star Trek TOS, the original series, or at the time of its conception known as Star Trek. And it's like the first season of Avatar: The Last Airbender, or as it was known during the first season, Avatar: The Last Airbender. Like, what the fuck? And we also have John on to do The Next Generation. So, assuming that everything goes according to plan, an episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation happened before, maybe not the week before, but before this episode. And today we are talking about Charlie. Right, Charlie, or is it Charlie X? I should know the name. I'm sorry, I should know the name. Charlie X sounds way too much like a superhero.
Yeah.
That's what I was kind of thrown off. Yes, Charlie X.
Before he got his powers, he was known as Charlie.
Yes.
But now he's
Charlie.
Charlie
Mr. Evans. Yeah, Mr. Evans. Why does he call me Mr. Evans? It's your fucking name, boy. Yeah,
yes,
but the rest of them called me God. Oh, well, we have a lot to teach you here, Charlie. Yeah. So, this episode, remember last time when we did the Man Trap, and I told you, Anthony, that it felt like it was just an episode of Twilight Zone, but like under a Star Trek lens?
Yep.
And
I agreed.
Wasn't this pretty much an episode of Twilight Zone?
This was a lot like the episode where oh god, I'm remembering way back. Anthony Fremont when he was the little kid who basically had all of these powers and can make anything happen, and he ruled over the town, and but the end
everyone has
ended,
to be happy.
Although I have to say that ended very differently than this did.
Well, I'm pretty sure. I don't remember how that one ended, but I'm pretty sure it didn't end like this.
No.
Yeah, no, but because I remember that one because as a kid, my dad showed me
that
both
ending
Star Trek.
Was a lot more unfortunate.
Yes. My dad showed me Star Trek and showed me Twilight Zone. So I see this, and even the look, I was like, because didn't the kid, Anthony, whatever, also give, like, that look when he was doing, like, telekinesis-y stuff?
He gave a similar look, but a more creepy look.
Okay.
I think.
Because I feel like I've seen this. I feel like I've seen that look before in Twilight Zone, if not in that episode. I've seen it done, and obviously due to the fact that it's in black and white, Twilight Zone came out first. It was in the 50s, where this obviously came out later. So it's kind of interesting. Like I kind of want to look up who wrote this episode because I'm wondering if it was like a nod, where to you and I, because we're much younger, to us it just kind of blends together, but obviously to someone writing this at the time, they could have seen it, Twilight Zone, as a kid or as a teenager, and then started writing for this. Yes. Yeah. So, because obviously it's, decades apart, but like to you and I, we're like, wow, it's it's literally the same thing. It's like, well, they didn't come out 2 years apart or something, But no, it really does feel like, at least early on, with where we are right now, it seems like Star Trek is just but is also Twilight Zone under a different lens, under a sci-fi exclusive lens, because obviously, Twilight Zone had their sci-fi shit, but this definitely seems like it is certain, like, because I forgot what it was specifically in the Man Trap that made me think of Twilight Zone, but in this case, I forgot what it was, but in this case, it's definitely like just, the telekinesis, the kid with the powers, and everyone having to be nice. I'm sitting here and I'm like, this is extremely familiar.
Yeah.
And it's also interesting because we're trying to get to know these characters, because think about it like this too, Anthony. We don't know any of these people. Like, we're not supposed to when the show first
not
came
yet.
out.
No, not at this point.
Yeah, so they're just showing all these people, and you're kind of seeing how they're interacting, at least with Charlie, and that's kind of a good way to know them, because none of them are really like a dick to him. Like, even that dude in the dojo was kind of just laughing because he was like, to be a kid being thrown on his ass. Like, I don't think he was like literally like, fuck you, Charlie. It was more just like, to be youth. You know, like, because he's probably thinking back to when he was thrown on his ass. But then Charlie, I love, by the way, the slow build in the episode, where, yes, obviously we know that there's something a little off with this kid, but I think we're supposed to be led to believe, like, well, I mean, he was in isolation, you know, yada, yada. But the second he makes him go away, halfway through the episode, it's like, oh, no, there is something very wrong here.
Yeah.
That's
when the shit hit the fan.
Yes, I said that to you through text. Yes, that's when shit hit the fan.
The fan, way too late.
No, because like early on, shit hit the exhaust. Shit hit the phasers, which then disappeared. No, because when you see, like, in the beginning of the episode,
shit was only
just
making polite conversation with the fan.
Oh, exactly. But then eventually it just bam, just like, just like. Oh, by the way, I love, speaking of hitting or slapping or anything like that, I love when we had Yoan. It's Yoan, right? That's her name.
Rand.
Yeoman,
yeah.
Thank you, Yeoman. When she was
her name is Yeoman Janice Rand, but
yes, okay,
Yeoman was their title, her title.
Oh, got it. So
but
Janice,
her name is
when
Janice
she's
Rand.
Thank you. When Janice is just like, talk to Kirk about why you shouldn't be touching a woman there, I was like, really bad role model, Janice. Not
you want him to do that? Yeah. You want him to get advice from him, of all people?
Why can't I touch a girl in the behind? First of all, my son. Second of all, like, I don't think that was the appropriate person to have a conversation. Like, literally, she should have been like, talk to Spock before Kirk. Kind of just, and then go somewhere.
You, Mr. Evans, are illogical for doing that.
No, I was going to say, like, talk to Spock, then talk to Kirk, and then just decide somewhere in the middle where you stand, Charlie. Just because, like, I would, oh, my God, I can't, but no, it was funny that she said, like, talk to Kirk or, you know, or Bones, and I was like, yeah, talk to Bones. He's a medical man. Talk to Bones. Bones will give you some really weird-ass diagrams, but you know what? He'll teach you how things go around this. But, like, when Kirk was just like, well, I mean, you don't really touch a woman. Well, I mean, you can't. Well, no, hit. Well, I mean, you know, look, when you slap a man on the behind, it's good. Wait, no, that, like, the second Kirk says that, you just hear like a million people's pencils start writing, Kirk was alone in his quarters. Spock walked in a day. Like, it's just, you can slap a man on the behind.
Fiction.
Yeah, exactly. Just fan
material.
A thousand pieces of fan fiction started in that exact moment. But no, but like really though, it's kind of funny, like in a way I get, because like again, at first you're trying to, like they're trying to play it up as like, oh, Charlie doesn't know, yuck, and then it's like, but really though, Charlie doesn't know, and you don't know what Charlie can do to you. Yeah. So, what did you think about the episode overall, though? Because I could rant about this thing all day. What was your initial reaction, at least this time around?
You know, I want to say that the first few episodes in the start of the season are really, really weird episodes to start out with. It's like we're getting, like you said, we're getting to know these people but we're getting to know them, but like a lot of other stuff is thrown in that, like we also said, reminds us of other stuff. So it's like, how is that? How are we supposed to get to know them when, you know, all this crazy stuff is happening? And this is just, you know, the first 3 episodes, and like, you would think that you would, find out more about the world, and there would be more like exposition. There would be more of that going on. But no, it's just weird things happening on the ship. And it's like,
yeah, it was. I think the show was made for syndication, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Like it was made to just be watched out of order, and to, to just kind of have a good time, right?
Yeah.
So like, yes, you get to know them a bit more. You know what's funny? I see Spock and Uhura, and I was just like, oh wow, I didn't realize how much they kind of gelled and they meshed well together in the original series, like the original, because when people, because I'm pretty sure they did something with them in the J.J. Abrams movie, right?
Yeah, a little
bit. Am I wrong? A little bit.
No, you're right.
And I'm pretty sure when they did that, everyone lost their nerd minds. They were like, "Wow, really? Oh my God, forced diversity, blah blah blah." And then I see this, and I'm like, "No, it just feels like a nod to the original series."
Yeah, there was. I mean,
well, because in these last two episodes, oh no, right, never an outright. I hear you. But in these first two episodes, the fact that in the first one, not the pilot, I'm referring to actually the first episode, fucking lost my shit. I laughed so hard when, this is the Man Trap, when Uhura would just mention
there are
like
no
the
moons
moon.
on Vulcan.
There are no.
Why
that
doesn't that
explains
surprise
a lot.
me?
Yeah, doesn't that surprise me? Fucking lost it. And because, she's just kind of like romanticizing this with him. And then in this episode, we have her singing with him, like, and we even have Janice kind of like going like, hey, come on, like, he's doing the harp thing. How about you sing with him? Like, it just feels like there was something there that it doesn't seem super out of place like I originally thought, and the way people were like really angry about, like me, I was just like, oh, that's odd. But people online were, I thought, man, not everyone, but I know there were people online that were really angry at the time when the movie did that. And I'm watching these first few episodes and I'm like, oh, there is a little something there. Like, you would think that like the two of them were like cold to each other and never spoke, the way the internet at the time kind of like got a little upset about it. But watching this, I'm like, oh wow, like, there's a little something there, like a tinge, like a little hint of something there. And then Charlie had to come and screw it all up by making Uhura freaking mute, which is like, that's also, I mean, I'm not saying that there were no signs that there was something weird about Charlie and telekinetic, especially with the card tricks and stuff like that. But like once, the dude disappeared in the dojo that they had, I was like, oh no. I was like, yep, this is, I knew that there was something, because I think in my head, I remembered this a little bit from when I was a kid, not the end, but just like parts of it. I was like, yeah, this kid like has psychic powers, I think.
Mhm.
Oh, I loved how the fucking what's their names, the Andromeda, the San Andreases, the other ship, they were just like, well, gotta go. Kirk is just like, would you like something to drink? Oh, I really would, but we really have to fucking go. No, like something alcoholic. Yeah. Again, Kirk, I would love alcoholic beverages right now, but boy, do we gotta go. Why are you laughing? Shh, hit the fucking thing. Hit the transporter. Hit the transporter.
Yeah. Get out now. Get out now.
Yeah.
It was very apparent that they did not want to see what was going to happen.
Oh, yeah, no. They were literally like it's just, I'm so happy that you've brought us the boy. Boy, cargo, whatever the fuck. Just take him. Just take him and also don't use your phasers. What? See ya. Like, they were so done. It's just kind of funny when you watch the episode again, just how fucking done they were with this kid.
Yeah, they really were.
Like, do you know how done they were? I felt like one of them was going to call him Wesley. Like, they were so fucking done with this kid.
Shut up, Wesley.
And I don't even hate Wesley, but I just feel like they were just looking at him like,
no, I don't either.
But still, though, like, this kid was essentially, I love how he actually, speaking of, by the time this is out, I reviewed this with John already. We talked about The Naked Now.
Mhm.
This kid basically pulled a fucking Wesley, or arguably Wesley pulled what this fucking kid pulled. I run the ship now, Captain.
Yeah,
like he basically
yeah.
just pulled the same shit, which is kind of funny looking at both of them side by side like this. It just hit me right now. But anyway, when looking at, but my question is, do you remember when you originally saw this? Because sadly I don't. So I'm assuming I saw it probably through like VHS tape or something, because my dad had all the tapes when I was a kid. Not sure if I still have them somewhere in storage. Do you remember when you first saw this episode?
Yes, I was young-ish, and it might have been on the VHS.
Oh, on the VHS. Do you still have those or no? Because my dad had like this crazy
on the
collection.
VHS.
Yeah,
Well,
my dad had like a crazy box set collection.
I know I have. I definitely don't have all of them. I know I have like a few. But my dad also taped them on the VCR back when people taped things off the television.
Well, wait, no, we gotta pause for a second. No, but yeah, we gotta pause for a second for anyone who's like under the age of like 15 listening to this for some reason, or maybe like a few like late teens who are like, wait, what?
They're not
I know what a VHS is.
What the hell we're talking about?
No, they know what a VHS is, but they might not know about the function of the VCR. So. No, but they might not know about that though. So yeah, back in the day when you know when you accidentally go off the HDMI and you're on something called Channel 3 and it's like fucking white noise, like a ghost is about to pop out. So that's where TV was back in the day. You would flip before, like even with cable, still you could flip on those channels if you didn't have cable. And so what ended up happening is you could actually connect that to your VCR and set it, which I never knew how to fucking set it, even as a kid. But you could actually, tape things to tapes from the television, which arguably now, if your signal isn't protected, you could technically use like a capture device, like either a video game capture device or something like that. You could technically record your cable, but why the fuck do you need that? You have a DVR. Like, you have DVR or you have streaming. Like, you don't need to do that shit anymore. But back in the day, when there was no streaming, just lightning, when there was no streaming, yeah, you essentially had to tape it, or you fucking missed it forever. Which is not true, but kind of true. Not true, because there were reruns, but like kind of true, though. Like if you were like, oh, I missed it, I was washing my hair. Well, you're fucked. Spend $40 on that fucking VHS tape that has like 4 episodes on it.
I think any young people, you confuse them more.
Oh God, no! It just hurts.
No,
just hurts to think about. Just no, I'm sorry. No, just as an anime fan, it hurts to think about VHS tapes being that expensive, and now people are trying to give them away.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. So, but back to the episode itself. Yeah, I obviously was young, probably through VHS. If it wasn't, probably through a sci-fi marathon. Since sci-fi used to do,
They used to have them. They used to have them on TV for holidays and stuff like that, like they do with the Twilight, like they did with the Twilight Zone with the New Year's and the 4th of July marathons.
Yes.
Where they would play
those,
them. Yeah.
Or they would have it on like every day at like 4 p.m. or something, and I'm pretty sure I caught a decent chunk of Star Trek when I was like in middle school that way. So yeah, so I must have seen it there. That was even before the remaster. So man, that ship, it still shocks me that the ship looks that good, but then it cuts to them, and then even though they look good, they're still real people, so you can still see grain and stuff. It's weird, especially with the outfits that they wear. So it's I said this last time with you, Anthony, but it's still going to be hard for me. Maybe one day it'll seem normal. Just seeing the juxtaposition of like the CG ship, which looks great, and then they're dressed in everything they're dressed in. Like, look at what Kirk came out in.
Yeah.
Like, he came out in something that says, I don't care what I'm wearing because I fuck. And all of you know I fuck. Like, I can get it. I don't care what I wear. Like, you saw him. He wasn't even, like, it wasn't even like a leisure thing. He was, like, on duty, and he was wearing that. He's like, I'm the captain.
Yeah.
Like,
which, it's weird. Like, in the beginning, you don't, there are a lot of, I think they were. It seems like they were trying to mess around with the uniforms early on, because the things they were wearing in the beginning were not the things they were wearing by the end.
No. It's honest to God. It seemed like the way some of this early stuff was filmed, it legitimately felt like, well, why is Kirk not wearing his captain's shirt? Because it was in the wash. Like, literally, it seems like it's just, well, we couldn't get it in time for props, fucking nerdy McAsshole. Yeah, like, it just kind of seems like that's the mentality, because he was on duty in the beginning of the episode, yet he's wearing that green, the green outfit, which would look like an alternate costume if he were, like, in a fighting game. Like, oh, do you want Kirk in his captain's outfit or in this?
A different
and
skin,
it's like,
yeah.
Yeah, he'd be in a different. But back in the day, it'd be fine if it was a different skin. But now you'd be like, I paid $5 for that outfit. Why did I pay $5 for that outfit? Well, it's available in the season pass for $25. But why that outfit? No, but you're right though. Like, they kind of switched up stuff, especially in the pilot. It was kind of weird the way they switched up their outfits. But because we did both pilots, we of course talked about the one with Pike, and we talked about the one with Spock and with Kirk. Yeah, so they're trying to get it right, quote unquote, if you will, but there definitely was some mixing and matching and stuff like that. And they definitely, like, I understand, like, when they're in their leisure time, like, of course they're going to wear something different. Like, Janice was, like, chilling out in whatever the fuck she was wearing. Like, I get it, right? Mm-hmm. She was just hanging out, like, doing her thing. But with Kirk, it was, like, I'm pretty sure, didn't he meet them, like, the crew of the San Andreas, in that green outfit, or am I wrong?
Oh, I think he did.
Yeah, which is so odd. Like, maybe it was the idea that it was, like, out of nowhere, so, like, he didn't realize. But, like, he just came up to them, again, like, with full confidence of just, like, yes, I'm wearing this.
And yes, I still am the captain of the ship.
Yeah,
F you.
Exactly. Yeah, no. I have to say, speaking of the end of the episode for a second, two things I want to mention to you. One thing is this. So this race of beings that we never see again, unless someone probably read a novel that I haven't read. So this species of we never see them again. But apparently they have, like, they're gastrous, so they're not, they don't have any physical forms, but they're super duper duper, like, telekinetic. Like, they have magical, awesome powers of telekinesis, and they gave those powers to the boy to help him live. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
Can they not take those powers away from the boy to help him live here?
That's never said.
Damn
that's
it.
exactly what I was thinking, because I know what you mean, and I was thinking the same thing. I actually thought that the episode ended that way. So the other thing is, I forgot the ending.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that floating green man was going to take away the powers of Charlie and just have him live as a normal kid. That's how I thought it ended. I swear to Jesus, that's how I thought it was going to end. The ending kind of took me by surprise, because I forgot that it ended like that, where he just was taken, and he was begging them to stay, and he was taken, which is a very uncomfortable ending, because the fact that he mentioned, it was the fact that he mentioned that they don't love, they don't touch, they don't, they don't.
Well, because they don't have physical forms. Yeah.
He will and I felt bad for him, despite all he did, because he will probably never love or never feel what a human does again.
Yeah, I think I felt bad for him.
And in those final moments.
Yeah.
In those final moments, it was very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It was an uncomfortable ending.
It definitely was. But the reason why I felt bad for him is because, and this is something that I enjoyed, because I think certain episodes of the original series don't do this enough. They sometimes forget that they're on a mission for peace, I feel. I know that they have to use force if necessary. I get it. If necessary, they have to use force. But just for some reason, whenever I think of the original series, I just immediately, like, it's like, oh, well, what do you think about Kirk? And I'm like, he fights and he fucks. Like, that's just the two Fs. That's just what he. No, I'm being serious though. Like, that's just Kirk. And so to see him being like, no, please, he's just a boy. I'm like, oh, okay. Because I'm not saying he was gonna stab him or anything. I'm just saying that, like, I sat there in the middle of the episode, and the second he made the red shirt disappear, and I thought, how are they gonna have Kirk kill a child? They're gonna do it, but how? That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm just kind of wondering. I'm like, he's going to kill the boy, but how? and the fact that he didn't, the fact that he was the one that was just like, no, please, you must spare him. I was like, oh, this was unexpected. You know?
Yeah.
That's my thing. I'm just like, wow, that's actually really cool that, he was, because that's what he's supposed to do. But again, certain times in the show, especially when they wanted it to be more action heavy, for the little kiddies, it just kind of was a certain, how do I put it? It was just very, I don't say violent, because I don't want to be that kind of person. Like, obviously the show can, have them hitting people and stuff, but it again, every episode, we're on a mission of peace. And then he's just like, I will punch that large lizard and also that small lizard. Fuck, I'll hit all of you. Like, Kirk is just a man on a mission to punch, I feel sometimes.
I can't wait until we get to that episode.
Yeah, right? So in this case, it's just kind of funny that he was just, not funny, but again, more true to the mission statement of the show, right? Of just like, no, like, look, he did some horrible things. Believe you me. But
sometimes, sometimes he is and sometimes he isn't.
I know.
It's really
and again,
weird.
Look, I hear you. But thankfully, like, that's something you needed in the first, episode of the like one of the first episodes of the show. You needed him to be this way. Because it would have felt really odd. A bit like one of those pilots that we saw, remember? When he was really just, like, punching the telekinetic dude out. Well, no, he was telekinetic, but he was, like, kind of like, I'm a god. I am your god. He's like, oh, then I'll punch God. And they were having that fight. And so in this case, it actually is nice to just see him be, a kind, compassionate person, to realize, like, the struggles of this child and the fact that he's just been there alone for so many years,
Yeah.
Like, he's been there for
he doesn't
nobody.
necessarily know how to act in front of people.
Yeah, because originally I got that. But like I said before, after a while, I'm just thinking, like, ooh, I don't want to see him snap his neck. But because they're saying he's just a boy, right? Although, thankfully, they did something that I liked, that they were like, hey, he's 17 years old. Because I was nervous they were going to be like, look at this child. He's only 10, and he looks like that, or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, you look at someone like Wesley, and they talk about Wesley like he's just a boy, but he looks like he's 15.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how old Wesley is supposed to be again, because I don't know if they've covered that within the first few episodes that John and I have talked about, but he looks like he's 15. So when they're like, the boy, I'm like, what do you mean boy? Like, he's 15. But in this case, I also get it, because, again, he's never interacted with anyone, so it's like, yes, he really has the mentality of a child. He knows human language, or he knows Earth, English, whatever you want to call it. He knows that language, but he doesn't know anything else. He's just a oh God, when he was like, it's like I'm hungry all over. It's just like she's literally like, how I cannot deal with any of this right now.
Mhm.
She's like, how do I break this down for him? Dear God, that's it's just a terrifying way to say it. It's like my body is hungry all over. Kirk.
Yeah. Kirk walks into the room again.
Kirk walks into the room while talking to Bones. It's like my body is hungry all over. What is that, Yeoman? It's like, God damn it. It just sounds so creepy, but it. Anyway, so I didn't think the episode was going to end that way either. Very disturbing, but again, like very Twilight Zone-esque as well. So like quote unquote worked, I guess, if that's what they were trying to go for.
Yeah.
I mean, again, like
Although,
something that I don't know.
I must say, Kirk is more like that than you would think, because like I know Kirk has a reputation of being, you know, punching the aliens out and things like that, and he does do that a lot. But like, I just want to make a distinction between punching an alien and wanting to kill it. Like
Correct.
punching someone and wanting to kill. So like if I it's like, you know, if I have a problem with you, I might punch you, but that doesn't mean I want you dead. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's a very that's a terrible example, but
no. We're gonna fight each other. We're gonna fight each other on video. We're gonna fight each other. No, but I hear you 100%. That's true.
I mean,
You're
I wouldn't actually punch you, but I mean, I'm saying like, yeah.
Okay, I would. I'd punch me.
Oh.
But I.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah. Anthony got so confused. He was like, "Wait, what?" That went in a different direction than I thought. But no, you're absolutely right though. It's not like he's like shooting to kill. Again, they have phasers set to stun all the time. But yeah, it was just an ending that I didn't expect. I'm happy again that we saw compassion from really the entire crew, even Janice. Like, you know, despite what she went through with him, still it's just like, again, like this idea that he's just a boy, because you never know how an older show is going to go with it, especially when Kirk was dropping some advice. Granted, that was beautiful advice and it wasn't terrible advice. Like, hey man, you got to survive. Like, that's the world. Like, you can move on. There's many other fish in the sea. Like, I would show a child that. Like, if they were like, I would. Like, if I still had students, and like, because when I was a debate coach, and so if I was still a debate coach and I had students and one of them like came in and was just like, oh, you know, like, you know, dumped me and I can't, you know, debate today or something like that, I just showed them that clip. Like, it's a powerful clip. It doesn't seem like it's talking down to kids or to teenagers. Like, it just seems like it's like, hey man, cold harsh reality, but it's not dismissive either, I think. Like, it's just saying like, hey, like, it sucks, but you know, we live, and even I do too. I think that was very interesting with Kirk too, where he's like, no, like, even me, like, I don't get every woman. I mean, I get like every other woman, but not every woman.
Oh my god.
But seriously though, like, it's nice to see that from Kirk, because, you know, again, depending on what they need him to do in the episode, he does get the ladies. Not usually on the ship necessarily, but he does get the ladies. So it was nice to see, you know, that kind of him being kind of a father figure to, and being a darn good one at that.
Oh yeah. You know, I didn't feel like anyone really talked down to him or treated him like a child per se.
No, I mean, I just think that, you know, like, even that one guy, like I said earlier, who was in the, you know, that dojo, I just think he was just chuckling, like, you know, like, you know, like not so much like, you got thrown on your ass, haha, just kind of like, you know, they laughed at me when I was thrown on my ass, and therefore I laugh at you. Like, it wasn't, I mean, and someone could say that that's wrong, but like, it wasn't done out of like malice. Because, like, I've been, you know, like, when I was a kid, I was bullied, and, like, I know what, like, you know, people are actually trying to fucking hurt you and be pieces of shit, versus when I had classmates who were legitimately laughing, like, hey, come on, man, like, with the elbow. Like, there's a difference between, like, the elbow and, like, haha, you fuck. And he didn't seem like he was doing it that way. But, again, Charlie started the tradition of the red shirts. He seemed to have, right? Isn't this the first episode that it was confirmed that it was? Because I know Mantrap, I think a red shirt died, but other ones did too.
Yeah.
So that's
really interesting. I didn't even think of that.
Oh yeah, no. The red shirt thing has just been in my head. I think maybe my dad is the first one who told me about it. But yeah, no. Like, the red shirt thing is always in my head. So like, when I saw in the Mantrap, I think one red shirt died, but then other ones did too. It was like, oh, okay, they mixed it up. They were like, let's just mix this thing up right now. But then in this one, the fact that it was technically, chronologically, the next one after, if you don't count the the pilots. Yeah, this technically started that, like as a thing, minus that one episode. So yeah, no. Damn you, Charlie, said the red shirt.
Yeah.
Also, I wonder where he took him, because like it seemed like they were in some like random zone or something. Like they were like they existed but didn't, sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just went to their existence,
Yeah.
which is not explained, and I don't think we ever see them again. Unless.
What do you mean them? You mean the aliens? Like the green
yeah,
gaseous?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, those green aliens. I don't believe we ever see them again. They could,
No.
like you said, they could be in a novel somewhere, which they probably are.
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they were, or in a comic or something. But as far as the show goes, I don't think we see them again. I could be wrong, but that's what I believe.
No, I mean the show never really. I think maybe I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly, Star Trek barely, the original series, barely ever does callbacks. I mean barely.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure we never, unless they were like randomly in a movie.
With the exception of the Klingons.
Well, yes, that's what I said barely.
They do bring them back.
Yeah, but I mean like again, barely. So yeah, no, I think with this episode, I think the reason why I enjoyed it so much, like I mentioned earlier, slow build. You treat it like you had good life lessons for kids, ones that actually can stand the test of time. Like because I sometimes I worry, not just with Star Trek, but like we've just certain shows when you look back, we've talked about this before, Anthony. Something is made as a part of its time. Like even if it's trying to be, progressive or it's trying to be moving forward and pushing forward, it is still limited by the time it was created. That's the word. Those are the words that I'm looking for. So
oh yeah,
when you look at, because I think it was one of the pilots where it was just like something about like, come on, if you can't pilot the ship, what man could? As if like only a man could pilot the ship, and I was just like, oh boy, stuff like that. So in this case, it was just nice that they were giving him advice that I don't believe even now is outdated. Like, even like, cause like the whole like slapping a woman's behind, it's just like, yeah, you don't do that. Like it's like that's actually great advice no matter what.
Yes. Yeah.
You don't know what the meaning of the word love is. You're using, you think it's love, but you're actually being very, not even just forceful. I mean, you're just being constrictive. You're being possessive. That's what I'm looking for. Like that's something I think a lot of people online need to learn about.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting that
Absolutely.
That's kind of that's kind of like a really good life lesson that really does stand the test of time. Here's something that threw me off. So I don't know how much TV you've watched recently, Anthony, but I know that you're someone who's watched TV. You're not someone who really shies away from it, especially during your childhood. So
you're someone
normally,
who's watched TV.
Decent, no, because there are some people that are just no, I really don't watch any TV. Like even movies, they're just like, I just read, and it's like, all right, I'm happy that you read, but like, bruh, a little bit won't hurt you, just a little tiny bit.
I do everything.
Yeah, you do everything. Yeah, you love reading, you love watching. So the reason why I bring it up though is because usually, I don't know when it came into, I don't want to say law, but like when it stopped happening. But usually television shows, especially ones that are aimed at kids, do not bring up God or the devil. Like they've stopped that. Like they do little references like him in Powerpuff Girls and stuff like that, but they usually remove all, or also the one from Cow and Chicken, but like they usually remove all of those references and don't really like to talk about that. Probably because they don't want to offend Catholics and they don't want to offend just anyone, right? But in the episode, when Uhura was singing, she literally called Spock like the devil, or looking like the devil. And that really took me back. No, because I was like, wow, a time when they could reference that shit. And I don't know if anyone complained, but like a time that they could reference that shit.
I can't really see any. I don't really see anyone complaining about that back then. I mean, there were definitely other things that people complained about Star Trek back then.
Yes,
but
definitely.
I don't. I could be wrong, but I don't see any. I don't think that's anything that anyone would complain about back then.
Oh, I'm sure someone wrote in. How dare you bring up Lucifer and?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I'm
but
sure
like,
somebody wrote in.
I'm talking about like the the general population would just
yeah. No,
it would just be like it would be like another. I don't care, like one of those.
I know, it's just funny that they referenced it too, to bring that up as well, because like that's something
I
feel
mean,
like we would say.
Like still, even though that they're they're 200 years into the future, something like that, they would still know what religion is and have some kind of a concept of what it was and have a know about the history of it and maybe still reference it in their songs and their popular culture in the future.
I wasn't even referring to that because heck, in the episode itself, literally Kirk is like, Thanksgiving, make that shit a good one. Yes, sir. So like he was like, that's fine. I'm just referring to the fact that the actual show writers and creators were like, yeah, we know he looks like the devil. Let's just write that in there. Like, because no, I thought that was something that like we picked up on and we're like, did no one, like the fans, and we were all like, did no one actually like notice that he looks like Satan? Did nobody notice he looks like Satan? So no, they're literally sitting there. They're like, oh no, we know he looks like Satan, and it's like, okay, that's good, I guess. I don't know. No, because literally it's like you sit there and you're like, wait, the one that looks like Satan is the one that's most knowledgeable and logical. Interesting.
Yeah.
Just saying this. As someone who grew up Catholic, interesting. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. It's just odd when it actually comes up. I'm just saying. Anyway. So yeah. So I'm looking at. Sorry. As you guys might know, longtime listeners, I'll have the episodes on in the background as we're talking about them. So yeah, I'm at the point where Kirk is just like, well, you're basically like a son to me, and I'm gonna throw you around a bit, and he just throws him around the deck. Like literally, like he's just like, Charlie, make her come back. Actually, you know what? Oh yeah, because the idea. By the way, great way to try to get him, which is like, wait, we have so much shit on this ship. Charlie even said it's not as easy. So he's basically giving away the fact that you can overload his sensors, something that many movies and TV shows do nowadays. I mean, ad nauseum, basically. I don't know if it was a new concept at the time, but the idea of, overload X with Y, and then Z will happen. And you can use Z to, save the day. Like, think about how many pieces of media use that nowadays.
Mhm.
Yeah, and not like
I wish there was.
Yeah.
I wish there was some way to look up, the tropes that were used in like old, like really old sci-fi shows and movies and stuff like that, and how common it was, and what the influence was.
Yeah, because the thing is, dude, there is technically TV tropes, but I don't know if that's the best, like, archive to look at, technically. But because the thing, too, is that I say that I don't know how it was used at the time because of the fact that, yes, Star Trek came out a very long time ago. But at the same time, sci-fi books could have done that earlier, and there was a lot of popular sci-fi at the time that we'll probably, not only do we not know about, but we may never know about if it was only printed, like, once in some like pulp magazine or something, like some sci-fi comic. So like we don't know how much, like we really don't know how often these tropes were used, but I know that now, looking at this and seeing now, like I can't even pick out anime that do shit like that all the time. Like it's not just about telekinesis, it's about like energy or electricity, into different like robots or like systems malfunctioning, like all of this stuff, like overloaded. And then it sounds like something so simple, I guess, arguably, but like just seeing it done in this way, it was like, oh yeah, of course, why wouldn't he do that? But because in my head I was thinking Charlie was just all powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, but yeah, I do wish there was a way to kind of look that up, because that would be very interesting to see if we could. If there, I mean, again, arguably you could say TV tropes, but I mean, I'm not too sure if they're the best database necessarily. I have to do some research on that. Anyway, yeah, the effect, the gaseous effect, even though I'm sure it might have been updated for, the Blu-ray release, it still looks pretty good for its time. I mean, thinking about the fact this came out in, like, what was it again, 63 or 66?
The year is escaping me.
Well, then I have it on Netflix right now. I'll find it right now. Pretty sure it was 63. 68.
I think it might have been 68.
No, yeah, it was 68.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get confused because it was 68, but then we also had Doctor Who running at the time, and I'm pretty sure even during 68 it was still in black and white. So I always get confused. Because I know Doctor Who started in 66 in black and white, so I always forget. By the way, though, the effects, though, for the time, like that specific effect, really good. Really hard to do.
Oh yeah, it really was. A lot of the special effects were really good considering the time.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, like, yes, in some ways, certain things, I understand some people would say that they seem very, very, not even plain, just very cheap. And I hear you in some respects, but again, certain visual effects, it's like you don't have computers to make that work. Nowadays, I mean, certain effects you can kind of do that using Adobe Premiere Pro and Adobe After Effects. And if you know what you're doing, you can make fucking lightsabers. You can do all this stuff. I mean, if we have the right green screen and the right lighting, I could make you disappear whilst going stay, stay, stay. But to do something like that back then, it isn't the craziest. But like to do that one specifically. But in general, though, like it's a lot of work, very time consuming, and really interesting that they were able to do that, especially so early on with the season. Something that was really funny, though, that I just noticed. So like the random gaseous space whatever that they were?
Mhm.
Like, the formation? It was just the Enterprise. So watch that scene again, and you're going to notice it's just the outline of the Enterprise, and they literally just bring it into the shot, and then they just have it float away the same way the Enterprise just slowly, like it was like they put the Enterprise in reverse. But again,
yeah. Now that you mention it, yeah.
I love it. Anthony's just like, hold on a second.
Because
I wasn't talking about, yeah.
Because I knew it looked like a ship, but I didn't specifically think the Enterprise.
No, it's basically just a cutout of the Enterprise from the time. That's wonderful. Oh my God. Anyway,
Wow.
It's not terrible.
I guess I'm not a true fan then if I didn't notice that.
Well, I should explain. You've been to my house, Anthony. The TV is very large.
Yeah, mine is not.
Yes. No, that's all it is. It's just the fact the TV is large. So I look at it and I just blink and I'm like, that's the Enterprise. Also, the woman who wrote this episode, her name, or it says teleplay by, is Dorothy C. Fontana, and let's see, I want to see some of her work. Because I want to see if she worked on. Yeah, no, she did not work on. She actually worked on Star Trek: The Animated Series. Interesting. She wrote one episode, and she was an associate producer and story editor. Interesting. Yeah, very interesting.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't.
She also worked. Yeah, she worked on the Logan's Run TV show. She wrote 3 episodes.
Interesting. She did a lot of
sci-fi.
She did a lot of sci-fi TV shows. Yeah.
Oh, she actually wrote an episode of Deep Space Nine, and she wrote 5 episodes of TNG. Oh, she also wrote Star Trek New Voyages. one episode of that. She also wrote an episode of Beast Wars. All right. Transformers.
Okay.
That's interesting. Huh. Yeah. She wrote an episode of He-Man, Buck Rogers in the 25th Century. Let's see. Very interesting. Very interesting. Anyway, I'm only bringing it up because, again, very much saw in this episode a kind of relation to Twilight Zone. The director was Lawrence Dobkin. All right. I'm just curious to see. I want to see what he might have been, what other things he might have directed. If I'm like, oh, I know, it's okay. So this is interesting. He later portrayed the traitorous Klingon ambassador in a show that I don't want to bring up. I don't want to spoil it, but it was in a different show. Anthony, you might know which one I'm talking about.
I think,
but I'm not going to say which show. But I'm not say which show because it might spoil things. So interesting. And it does not seem like he worked on Twilight Zone. But again, definitely some vibes here, even if it's nothing direct. And of course, we have the story by Gene Roddenberry. We know that guy. What a cool dude.
I've heard the name in passing.
Yeah, I've heard the name in passing as well. But yeah. Oh, wait a minute. He was in I saw when I saw there was in the Wikipedia, in the normal Wikipedia, it says the eponymous I guess, character Charlie Evans is featured as an adult, and I was like, oh, in the fan-created non-canon miniseries. I was like, oh, Star Trek of Gods and Men. Like I thought it was like a book or something, and I was like, oh. Nothing against fan stuff, but I was like, wait, I thought it was canon.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Wow, that would have completely destroyed. No, I'm looking up again some extra stuff as we're kind of wrapping this one up. And it says the premise for this episode formed part of Gene Roddenberry's original March 1964 pitch for Star Trek, but it was under the name The Day Charlie Became God. Great for a pitch, but man, would that just fucked up the entire twist. Even though, again, it was still seeded throughout, so you knew something was off. But like calling him Charlie X, yes, there's like a weird like sci-fi element to it, but The Day Charlie Became God.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't keep that title.
It sounds like the title of a Diary of a Wimpy Kid book. Anyway, so
yeah.
Yes, so either way though, yes, and then when the series entered production, Roddenberry assigned it to Dorothy C. Fontana to dramatize. And yeah, interesting. Oh, the episode was known as Charlie's Law, which, while that still would have given something away, still a good title. I like it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's funny. In a scene in the script, which did not air, it's interesting. The name survived in the James Blish adaptation of the episode for Bantam Books. I forgot that happened back in the day. They just made adaptations of certain episodes or movies into books. Not so much now. Sometimes in the comics, but usually it's the reverse. Something that's a comic becomes a movie. Anyway, so in a scene in the script which did not air, Charlie's Law is stated as, "You'd better be nice to Charlie, or else." What the fuck? That's just funny. Oh, wow. Roddenberry made a cameo in this episode. I'm sorry. Yeah, uncredited audio cameo. He was the cook or mess officer who exclaims that the turkey-shaped meatloaf in the galley ovens have turned into real turkeys. That was his voice.
Yeah,
huh.
that was.
Wow.
I feel like I knew that.
But of course, you've forgotten about it over the years. That and the ending both just slipped out of your fingertips. Either way, though, anything else you want to say before we wrap this one up?
Yeah, it was definitely a memorable episode besides the ending, because I forgot the ending.
Yeah. I love that. It's memorable, but I should clarify.
It was memorable, but I gotta be honest, I forgot the ending. But but I did really like it a lot. And but again, I feel like it's part of the what I call like the awkward beginning episode cluster of Star Trek.
Which it does seem like, at least from my knowledge so far, because I remember, guys, I don't know Star Trek that well. I saw a lot of TOS, but other than that, I don't know it that well. It seems like for original Star Trek and with TNG, both have very awkward beginnings. Very awkward.
Yeah.
But I have to say, though, I think, though, out of what we've seen thus far, again, excluding the pilots, out of this and the Man Trap, I think this one wins for me.
Yeah, I would say that too, yeah.
Yeah, because I liked the Man Trap, don't get me wrong, but the fact that it turned into like this, like, oh no, now you're a monster and we must destroy you, it was kind of like, oh, again, I get it, defense, but the whole core of the show. So in this case, even though, yes, it did end with a rather, sad ending, a very tragic. Sure, some kids watching were like, what? Like,
yeah.
Some kids at the time were like, well, that scarred me for life. But still, I mean, heck, certain episodes of Doctor Who, you watch from behind the couch, even as a 26-year-old man. I still watch from behind the couch and like, Matt, you're not a boy anymore. I am when I watch Doctor Who. But your voice got so much deeper when you said that. I know. But anyway, so when watching this one, yeah, there was just something that really worked well, and I feel like even though, yes, you don't really get to know them like these characters one-on-one, still, through the lens of Charlie, I think this was a great way to know them, even when compared through the lens of Nancy, I believe was the original name of the woman who the monster was pretending to be. So,
yeah, that's right.
Yes. Through that, so I think that this was a great way to get to know the characters more. There was no Sulu or Chekhov, though, at all. Dear God.
No.
Dear God. Damn.
Or Scott.
Yeah. No Scott whatsoever. So I think they're also trying to balance having to juggle that many characters in an ensemble cast this early on as well.
Yeah.
Again, very, very awkward beginning.
And that happens too a lot, where it's like you don't see a character for an entire episode and then they're there the next episode. It's like, well, they're still it's like they're still on the ship and they're still doing stuff, but they're not central to what's going on. Like, they're not central to what, say, the captain is dealing with, or
yeah. Well, you know what? I'll be fair and I'll say this. You don't want to, because okay, I wish we could have seen, Scotty, and we could have seen Takei. I'm just gonna call him Takei. I know he has it's like, but his name is Sulu. Yes, but it's always Takei. With Sulu, we don't see them, but I guess that's better than putting them in and having them say one line and walking away.
Yeah, it's
that's better.
That, yeah.
Also, it saves them money because they don't have to pay them. They just tell them not to go. We're not using you on set today, so we're not, because they'd have to pay them for the line and shit. So they're like, fuck it, just tell them not to come in today. But no, I mean, I guess it works out well. Again, like, it's also, again, a hard thing to juggle. Like, very, very hard thing to juggle in an episode. Like, you have to have all of those characters together. I think later seasons maybe do a better job of it, but again, you're just trying to make things work at this point. So it's just like, yeah, let's just not have them in there instead of having them for like a random one line and they have to like walk off. Like, why do that? So, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
It just you know why I remembered Sulu, even though I love Sulu. I'm watching the credits, and when it says like featuring DeForest Kelley as Dr. McCoy and Grace Lee Whitney as Yeoman Rand, we just see Sulu with the rapier.
Yeah.
As it's paused, and I'm looking at him, and I'm like, yeah, where was Sulu?
Yeah.
But either way, maybe we'll see
there.
him again. Maybe we'll see him again next time, or the next time.
Or the
He's
next time.
Yeah, you're right. Or the next time. Either way, though. So, anything you want to say before we? Anything else you want to say before we wrap this one up?
It was good.
Yeah. No, you should definitely show this to your, like, I'm not even kidding. Like, if your kid's having a rough time, like, you know, like with love and things like that, just show this to your kid. Like, I feel like it's not dismissive of their problems. It's just saying, hey, I have that too. Except that, not the telekinesis thing. That's a no-no. That we don't have. But yeah, but either way though, yeah, I really enjoyed it. Yes, obviously, you know, again, the gaseous beings could have taken the powers away from him. I get that that's a problem, but I do feel like certain sci-fi, not all, but certain sci-fi is going to have that problem inherent to it. Like not a plot hole necessarily, but that when you give someone great powers like that, like it's the same thing with like superhero stuff where, you know, you'll have Superman doing his thing and someone goes, why doesn't he just stop all the wars? And then you have to have that explanation with someone like, well, that would cause a lot of international incidents and you'd probably get nukes shot up. And it's like, but Superman could stop the nukes. And it's like, it depends on which Superman you're talking about. Depending, yes, he could, but then it's just like, or like the Flash could, but then it's just kind of like, yeah, but then it's not people running things, it's them. And that's like, you have to get into that whole argument. So it's like every piece of media, when you start giving away powers like this, you're going to have something fall through a crack somewhere. I'm not saying it's terrible. I'm not saying it makes it terrible or you have to excuse things. You can say that makes the episode terrible if you want out there. But it is hard to balance that when you give him this kind of power and you give these beings that kind of power. But I do think that maybe if they could have just put in one line in the script of, no, if we take it away from him, he will die even now. It's like, oh,
yeah,
okay.
I mean, that would have been fine.
Yeah, I'd be like, I don't know why, but he said it, so he knows his shit. He's a gaseous being. He totally knows what's up. Like the
all-knowing Green Man.
Yeah, all-knowing Green Man. The Great Kazoo knows what's going on up in this. So I believe him. But either way, though, thank you all so much for listening in. As always, if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, Those Guys on the Radio, please remember to like and to subscribe. If you're listening to this through our Blog Talk Radio account, which is Those Guys on the Radio, thank you again. I believe you can follow us as well for updates, or you could just go on our different social media accounts like our Facebook, facebook.com/ThoseGuysOnTheRadio, our Twitter, which is @ThoseGuysRadio, and our website, which is tgproduction.net, to follow all of our shenanigans. We don't just do podcasts. We also have Let's Plays and video game reviews and news updates and things like that, not just through our Those Guys Play channel, but also on our Twitch, twitch.tv/TGProductions, and we also do different, we have some podcasts and also some different discussions of like news articles, either in the pop culture /anime/ general nerd culture world over at still on our Those Guys on the Radio YouTube channel, but over at our show called Keikaku Corner. I've had Anthony on every now and again. I think you and I a while ago, I think last season, talked about the Avatar: The Last Airbender Netflix series. Yes. And the fact that that's a thing. So there was that. Yeah, just the fact that exists. So you can find that as well. And also I do a show called Toku Station where I talk about tokusatsu news articles over at our Those Guys YouTube channel, Teacher Productions YouTube channel. And I have a show with Maddie where we talk called Those Wrestling Guys, where we talk about pro wrestling news as well. A lot of different fun stuff we do with our channels. A lot of cool stuff. So love you all. Take care. And tune in next time for another episode of Star Trek Thursday where I will have John on. And John and I will be talking about Star Trek: The Next Generation. But then guess what, Anthony?
What?
You'll be on the next time. Not the next, but like the next time. Yeah. So don't be down, or else. Goodbye, everybody. See ya.
Live long and prosper, everyone.